There is a specific kind of indifference that slowly erodes your sense of self-worth. You know the feeling. It happens when someone talks right over your thoughts, or when they comfortably take hours of your time, but vanish the second you need 10 minutes of theirs. We often tell ourselves that being the person who drops everything to help is a sign of deep kindness. We convince ourselves that always saying yes makes us a genuinely good, reliable friend or colleague. Beneath that accommodating exterior, we are often performing a quiet submission. We overcommit because the fear of displeasing others drives us to trade our boundaries for tiny scraps of external validation. By constantly giving away your energy to keep others happy, you train them to view your time as limitless and free. And in any social dynamic, the moment you become entirely predictable and endlessly available, you guarantee your own invisibility. Take a look at this chart plotting human availability against perceived value. As the line for your availability stretches out toward infinity, meaning you are always reachable and always agree to help, the line for how much people value you plummets toward zero. Flooding the social market with your presence automatically cheapens it. The first time you try to correct this and finally say no to a request, you will likely feel an intense wave of guilt. Your chest might tighten as your brain screams that you are being selfish or ruining a relationship. That guilt is the necessary psychological growing pain of self-preservation. Your mind is rewiring years of conditioning that taught you to put yourself last. You cannot build a relationship based on mutual respect until you establish that your access has a hard limit. Your time only becomes precious when you prove it is finite. The ancient Stoics understood that you cannot beg for respect. You have to command it through deliberate action. Establishing that boundary requires you to lean directly into the acute discomfort of telling someone they cannot have what you want from you. You can start putting this into practice through intentional absence. If you usually reply to messages within seconds, let them sit for an afternoon. If you always rush to fill an empty weekend with favors, step away and go offline. This sudden shift triggers immediate curiosity. People begin to wonder where you are and what you're doing. By introducing artificial scarcity, you force others to recalculate your worth, recognizing your time and energy as premium commodities that they now have to earn. You stop reacting to the endless demands of everyone else's schedule. By controlling your availability, you transition out of the background of your own life and step into the role of the main player who dictates the terms of engagement. We see a similar dynamic in conversation. When someone challenges a decision, or the dialogue hits an awkward pause, our automatic reflex is to panic and flood the space with words, justifications, and apologies. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung noted that our irritations with others can lead to profound self-understanding. The deep anxiety we feel when a conversation goes quiet reveals our own fear of taking up space without having to justify it. The next time someone interrupts you or tries to derail your point, do not scramble to speak louder. Stop. Let an uncomfortable pause hang in the air between you. The physical weight of that silence is unsettling. It creates a vacuum that forces the other person to second-guess their interruption, self-correct their behavior, and focus their full attention right back on you. If you can master your own nervous urge to speak, silence stops being a source of anxiety. It becomes an undeniable assertion of your control over the room. Underneath the chronic need to please others and fill the silence lies a much deeper terror, the fear of abandonment. We mold ourselves to fit other people's expectations because we dread the raw discomfort of standing completely alone. When your self-worth is entirely tied to the approval of the people around you, you grant them direct control over your emotional state. They decide when you feel capable, and they can withdraw that validation the moment you stop serving their interests. When you finally face that fear head-on and prove to yourself that you can survive solitude, your dynamic with the world shifts. Your willingness to stand firm and risk losing someone strips manipulators of all their leverage over you. True independence means you no longer view relationships as a desperate requirement for your emotional survival. Instead, they become an active, intentional choice, reserved only for those who actually add value to your life. As you start asserting these boundaries and protecting your time, you will face immediate pushback. Those used to taking advantage of your availability will try to guilt trip you, act offended, and eventually, many will fade away entirely. This resistance is highly productive. It operates as a natural filtration system, clearing out the dead weight and making room for connections that are actually built on mutual understanding and effort. Shedding the weight of those who only valued your utility upgrades your social environment. You are finally building your world on your own terms. You are working toward a state of being we can call quiet authority. It is a level of deep self-respect where you no longer feel the slightest need to explain, apologize for, or justify your existence to anyone. It perfectly reflects the Stoic ideal of a life built on rigorous internal discipline. Your authority does not come from loudly demanding compliance from the outside world, but from a total, unyielding alignment with your own values. Respect is not something you chase, not something you beg for or buy with endless favors. It is the natural, inevitable byproduct of a fiercely protected life. Stop avoiding the friction of setting boundaries. Lean into the temporary discomfort and claim the lifelong self-respect it produces.